My beloved child, something is shifting in the unseen realm right now, and Archangel Michael has been commanded to bring this message directly to you. The title you read, Last Chance. Your miracle will happen 10 minutes after seeing this secret God's message. It is only for you. Watch this complete video now. It's not an accident, not a coincidence, and not a simple phrase on your screen. It is a divine signal, a final call from heaven, a spiritual alarm that was activated the moment your eyes landed on these words. Listen carefully, because what I am about to reveal carries the weight of destiny. There is a miracle with your name on it, sealed in the spirit, waiting to manifest in the physical realm. But the enemy has tried again and again to delay it, distract you from it, and disconnect you from it. And now, for the first time in a very long time, the heavens have opened a narrow window, a time-sensitive opening, a countdown, and Archangel Michael is standing at the edge of that window holding a message that will shift the atmosphere around your life. He whispers, "This is your final warning before the breakthrough. Do not look away. Stay aligned. Stay awake. A miracle is already in motion, but only if you receive the message meant specifically for your spirit. Right now, in this very moment, something around your house, your relationships, your finances, where your health has been shaking. Subtle signs that something bigger is approaching. You may have seen patterns, repeating numbers, unusual dreams, sudden isolation, unexpected conflict, or moments where you felt watched over, as if a presence was standing beside you. That was Archangel Michael guarding you, shielding you, cutting away energies that were trying to keep you stuck in delay. And now he speaks again. Child of God, the countdown has begun. 10 minutes after this revelation enters your heart, a door that has been locked for years will burst open. This is why you cannot leave this message half-heard. Heaven doesn't repeat itself without purpose. And when God declares last chance, He is not threatening you, He is preparing you. There is a secret behind this moment, the divine reason you are here. You didn't stumble onto this message. Your spirit was guided. Something in you has been tired. Something in you has been crying for release. Something in you has been begging for a sign, a confirmation, a reason to believe again. Heaven heard you. Heaven responded. Heaven assigned this very moment as a spiritual encounter. But before the miracle unfolds, Archangel Michael is urging you to understand this truth. There is a battle over your promise. A spiritual resistance hovering close to your home, trying to divert your blessing at the very last second. But what the enemy doesn't know is this. You are minutes away from the shift he has feared. The moment you receive the full revelation in this message, a divine reversal will activate, instantly, powerfully. This is why you feel the gravity of this video in your spirit. This is why the title pulled you in like a magnet. This is why your heart is beating a little faster right now. Because the message is not general. It is surgical, precise, designed for you. And Archangel Michael stands ready with his sword of fire, saying, "Do not turn away." The moment you understand what is coming, the chains that have held you for years will snap like thread. Child, heaven rarely speaks this urgently. When God says the miracle will happen 10 minutes after seeing this secret message, it means your spirit will activate something the moment it fully receives the words being released. Something dormant inside you will wake up. Something blocked will allot. Something delayed will accelerate. What is coming is not normal. What is coming is not small. What is coming is not random. It is personal, assigned, strategic, and your spirit can already feel the trembling of it. But listen, Because this is important. There is a reason this miracle required a last chance message. Somewhere in your journey, you reached a point where you almost let go. You almost lost faith. You almost surrendered to the attacks, the delays, the confusion. The enemy hoped you would miss this divine moment, but God ensured you did not. You are here because heaven pulled you here. And right now, Archangel Michael is raising his voice. Stay with the message. What comes next will reveal why your miracle has been held. And when you hear it, everything will change. Before this moment ends, breathe. Feel the atmosphere shifting around you. Feel the presence of protection. Feel the urgency of heaven. You are in the right place at the right time, and the revelation ahead is the key that unlocks what's been waiting for you. Hold on, because the next words will uncover what the enemy hoped you would never find out. Type "I receive my miracle" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Lesson code 144 is now released. Before you move ahead, stay close. The message you are about to hear holds the doorway to your breakthrough. Dearest heart, a new wave of revelation is rising around you even now, and Archangel Michael is stepping closer with a message that carries both fire and tenderness. He stands at the threshold of your spirit, urging you to listen with the deepest part of yourself, because the moment you understand what is unfolding, the chains that have hidden in the background of your life will begin to dissolve. The heavens have been watching you, not from a distance, but intimately, closely, with a kind of attention only a chosen one receives. You have been walking through a season where nothing has made sense. Doors that should have opened remained shut. People you trusted shifted without warning. Blessings you expected slipped through your fingers at the very last moment. And yet, your spirit kept sensing that something bigger was happening beneath the surface, something invisible but undeniable. That sensation was Archangel Michael guarding the seed of your miracle, protecting it while the spiritual realm rearranged itself around your destiny. You may not realize it yet, but you have been standing in the middle of a transition zone. Heaven has watched you endure pressure levels most people would not have survived. You have carried pain without speaking it aloud. You have held tears behind silent smiles. You have walked through disappointment trying to pretend you were fine, even when your heart was exhausted. But what you could not see was this. Every moment you kept moving, even when everything inside you felt tired, the heavens intensified their protection around you. Archangel Michael shielded you from unseen attacks that were targeting your timing, your confidence, your clarity, and your peace. The enemy tried to confuse you. He tried to blind you. He tried to whisper lies that said your miracle would never come. But those lies could not overpower the voice of truth that kept rising within you, the voice that said something is still coming, something is not finished. Something is about to shift. And now, this message is the divine confirmation your soul had been waiting for. You did not arrive here by mistake. You were guided here because the timing of your life is about to change. You are standing in the last stretch before manifestation. A miracle that God set aside for you is not a small blessing. It is not a random surprise. It is a destiny-level intervention. Something that will rewrite the atmosphere around your home, your finances, your relationships, your path, your identity, and even the way you see yourself. For months, even years, you felt like your steps were being slowed down. But heaven reveals this truth today. You were not being slowed. You were being positioned. Archangel Michael is bringing light to something that has been hidden from your view. He reveals that a spiritual interference was standing between you and your miracle, a force that used fear, doubt, procrastination, and emotional exhaustion to keep you from reaching the moment you are entering now. This force used confusion to cloud your vision. It created sudden conflicts, unexpected losses, broken connections, and moments where you questioned your worth. But God never removed his eye from you. He never loosened his grip. He never allowed the darkness to swallow you. Instead, he prepared this exact moment as a divine reversal. And child, here is the part that will shake your spirit. The miracle God promised you does not just appear, it breaks through. It disrupts the pattern you have been stuck in. It interrupts the cycle that has repeated itself for too long. It resets the spiritual alignment around your life. The moment this message enters your spirit completely, the countdown toward your breakthrough begins. Heaven has already sealed the timing. This is why you feel intensity rising inside you. This is why your heart knows something is happening. This is why your atmosphere feels different right now. Archangel Michael is showing me that someone attempted to speak failure over your blessings. Someone attempted to project their fears onto your dreams. Someone tried to convince you that what God promised was unrealistic, unreachable, or impossible. They did not understand that heaven does not speak casually. When God says miracle, he means transformation. When he says shift, he means acceleration. When he says last chance, he means the window is narrow but open, and you are standing inside it. The miracle coming your way is not only for your benefit. It will break generational patterns. It will silence internal battles you have carried since childhood. It will open doors that your family could not open. It will dissolve burdens your heart has carried alone. You are stepping into an inheritance your spirit was always meant to receive, but the enemy tried to disconnect you from it. That disconnection ends now. Archangel Michael raises his sword as a declaration that the final layer of resistance is being removed. But listen closely, because this is the turning point of your journey. Your miracle requires your awareness. Not effort, not striving, not overthinking. Awareness. Awareness that you are chosen. Awareness that heaven is working. Awareness that you are seconds away from stepping into something that will change the trajectory of your life. If you scroll away from your divine moment, the activation pauses. But if you stay aligned, the shift that has been hovering over your life will finally break through. Before this moment ends, take a breath. You are not losing time. You are entering divine timing. You are not late. You are right on schedule. You are not forgotten. You are being positioned. His message is your sign. This moment is your alignment. And the revelation that comes next will uncover why the miracle was delayed and why it is now unstoppable. Type "I receive my breakthrough" if your spirit feels the truth in these words. Blessing code 411 has just been released. Beloved soul, something sacred is stirring around you right now. Something that has been waiting for the right moment to rise from the unseen and announce itself in your life. Archangel Michael stands beside you again, not as a distant guardian, but as a warrior ready to tear open the veil over your destiny. He brings a revelation that touches the deepest layer of your spirit, the place where your wounds, your prayers, your fears, and your hope have all been quietly holding space for a miracle that seemed delayed but never denied. Heaven has been whispering your name in the corridors of divine timing. And now the whisper becomes a declaration. Prepare yourself, because the miracle appointed for you is about to step into your reality with force. For so long, you have carried questions that had no answers. You wondered why you faced so many sudden shifts, why people you trusted pulled away, why opportunities came close and then vanished, and why your life felt like it was always one step behind where your heart longed to be. But what you didn't see was the war behind the scenes. A war not against you, but for you. A war fought by Archangel Michael and heaven's armies on your behalf, because the miracle assigned to you was too precious to be touched by anything unclean. Every delay you faced was divine protection disguised as frustration. Every closed door was a shield. Every pause with preparation. Archangel Michael reveals this truth now. The enemy has been afraid of your next season. He has feared what will happen the moment you step into alignment with God's timing. He feared the moment your eyes would see this message, the moment your spirit would awaken, the moment your belief would rise again. He tried to distract you, weaken you, and surround you with emotional fog so thick that you would lose sight of the promise. But you did not. Even in exhaustion, something inside you kept glowing. Even in disappointment, a tiny ember of hope refused to die. That ember was heaven's fingerprint on your spirit, evidence that you were never abandoned, only being prepared for something larger than your imagination has ever touched. And now, child of God, the revelation arrives like lightning. There is a reason the title declared this is your last chance. Heaven rarely uses language this urgent unless a divine window is seconds away from opening. A miracle waiting for you is time-sensitive. Not because God is rushing, but because the alignment of spiritual forces has reached a moment where everything shifts at once. You are walking into a divine intersection where destiny and timing collide. Archangel Michael stands with his sword drawn, clearing the final obstruction that tried to block your miracle from entering your life. You are standing in the center of spiritual motion, and heaven is adjusting everything around you so your blessing can fall into your hands without interference. But listen deeply, because what comes next is the truth you were meant to hear today. You are not stepping into any ordinary breakthrough. You are stepping into a season where the things that once felt impossible will begin to unfold effortlessly. The weight that has pressed on your spirit will lift. The confusion that clouded your decisions will clear. The silent battles that drained your strength will break. The emotional heaviness you carried alone will dissolve like mist under sunlight. The heavens are aligning all of this for one reason: your heart is ready. Not perfect, not fearless, not flawless, just ready. Ready for what God has prepared. Ready for what had been written. Ready for what had been preserved for you even before you were born. Archangel Michael whispers now, with a tone that shakes the realm around you. The next shift will not just change your circumstances. It will change you. This is why you were guided to this message. Not for entertainment, not for curiosity, but for activation. The miracle that will manifest 10 minutes after your spirit receives this revelation is not random. It is a divine response to your endurance, a holy reward for your resilience, a turning point that will rewrite the rhythm of your life. There is something else heaven wants you to know. The reason your spirit feels drawn deeper into this message is because breakthrough requires full awareness. This is not the moment to scroll away or disconnect. You are standing inside the spiritual threshold where revelation becomes manifestation. Every second you stay aligned, every word you allow into your spirit, pulls your miracle closer. This next moment is the hinge on which everything turns. What comes after this will reveal why God kept you waiting, why He shielded you, why He delayed certain blessings, and why He prepared this exact moment for you. Before we cross into that next revelation, breathe and let your spirit settle. A divine shift is not approaching. It has already begun. You are not preparing for your miracle. You are stepping into the first wave of it right now. And when the next part is revealed, you will understand the full power of what heaven has been orchestrating behind the curtain of your life. Type "I am ready for my miracle" in the comments if your spirit feels the truth rising within you. Blessing code 1212 has now been released. And now, before we continue, if this message is touching your heart, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let this message reach every soul who needs it. Spread the light, Spread the word. Spread the awakening. Beloved, as this message pours into your spirit, understand that every word released here is part of God's mission to awaken hearts across the world. When you choose to support this calling through Super Thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a channel. You are sowing into a global harvest of souls. Heaven sees every seed planted, and just as the woman who poured oil at Jesus' feet, your act becomes a fragrance before God. I feel led to say this directly. If I am speaking to your spirit, respond boldly. Just as this message aligns with destiny, your support becomes a prophetic act that opens doors in your own life. The theme of this video is about your miracle arriving, and sometimes the doorway to that miracle is unlocked through obedience. May every giver be met with divine acceleration, open heavens, and multiplied blessings. Step into this moment. Act with faith. Release your seed. Precious soul, as you step deeper into this divine encounter, something powerful is unfolding over your life. The atmosphere around you is shifting in ways you cannot yet see, but your spirit can already feel it. Archangel Michael stands firmly beside you, his presence strong, radiant, and unshakable. He is watching over you as heaven prepares to reveal the truth behind the battle you have been fighting silently. This moment is not just another passing message. It is a spiritual unveiling, a removal of the final layer of fog that has tried to keep you from recognizing the magnitude of the miracle heading your way. You have walked through seasons where you questioned your worth, your purpose, your progress, and even your prayers. There were nights when you tried to convince yourself everything was fine, even though your heart felt heavy. There were mornings when you forced yourself to rise, even when your spirit felt tired. Yet despite everything, there was always a small, unexplainable pull inside you, a whisper that said you were meant for more. That whisper was not your imagination. It was not false hope. It was the voice of heaven reminding you that you were chosen long before your struggles ever began. Now Archangel Michael reveals something that may shake you. The miracle that is approaching your life is not simply an answer to prayer. It is a restoration of everything the enemy tried to break. The delays you suffered were not signs of abandonment. They were signs of preparation. Heaven needed to clear the spiritual ground around you before the miracle could safely manifest. There were people, energies, habits, and attachments that were not meant to enter the next season of your life. Some connections had to fade. Some situations had to collapse. Some paths had to close. Not to punish you, but to protect the blessing that was too sacred to be placed in the wrong atmosphere. The truth is, you have been undergoing a spiritual cleansing without even realizing it. Archangel Michael has been cutting cords behind the scenes. Cords of fear, cords of confusion, cords of limitation, cords of emotional heaviness. You may have felt separated or isolated, but isolation was not rejection. It was divine repositioning. When heaven prepares to move in a powerful way, it first pulls its chosen one away from the crowd, from noise, from chaos. The separation was not to leave you alone. It was to help you hear clearly. Because now, what you hear will determine what you receive. And what you must hear is this: your miracle is not late. It is right on divine schedule. God does not make mistakes with timing. What felt like delay was actually God ensuring that the blessing would not be misused, mishandled, or misunderstood. You have grown spiritually in ways you may not even notice. You are stronger now. You are wiser. You are more aligned with your purpose. You are more connected to your intuition. And because of that, you are finally ready to hold what heaven has been preparing for you. Archangel Michael reveals that the countdown toward your blessing intensifies, when your spirit receives truth. That is why the message earlier declared 10 minutes, because miracles often manifest the moment alignment is complete. Alignment happens when truth enters your heart, when clarity meets faith, when revelation meets readiness. You are entering that alignment now. The shift is happening inside you even as you read these words. You may feel a stirring, a warmth, a pull, or a sudden awareness. That is your spirit awakening to its divine moment. But there is more. Heaven reveals that someone has been spiritually watching you, not always with good intentions. Some energies around you have been feeding off your light, your kindness, your hope. Some people admired you publicly but carried envy privately. But do not fear, because Archangel Michael has been guarding your spirit. Nothing spoken against you can touch the miracle that God is releasing into your life. The blessing assigned to you cannot be intercepted. What is coming belongs to you alone. No distraction can delay it. No jealousy can block it. No darkness can dim it. Your miracle has already been marked, sealed, and delivered in the heavenly realm. What you are stepping into will not simply change circumstances. It will establish a new spiritual atmosphere around your life. The heaviness that once followed you will break. The invisible resistance you felt will lift. The spiritual pressure around your home will shift. You will feel lighter, clearer, stronger. Your path will open with ease. Opportunities will appear effortlessly. People who are aligned with your purpose will enter your life, replacing those who drained your spirit. The miracle heading your way is a divine recalibration, a resetting of everything that went off balance in your past seasons. And child of God, here is the revelation heaven has saved for this moment. The emotional battles you thought were random were actually spiritual signs. The sudden sadness, the confusion, the tension, the unexpected anxiety, these were not weaknesses. They were indicators that a breakthrough was pushing against the barrier of delay. Every time you felt overwhelmed, it was because your spirit was expanding to receive what was on its way. Your heart has been stretching. Your faith has been strengthening. Your capacity has been increasing. All in preparation for what is now so close. Archangel Michael stands now with a certainty that shakes the realm. You are on the edge of a divine shift. Stay aligned. Stay aware. Stay here. You have no idea how close your breakthrough is. You are not watching this by chance. You are here because heaven is positioning you perfectly for what is coming next. Before we move forward, let your heart take this in completely. Your life is not wandering. Your spirit is not lost. Your destiny is not delayed. You are stepping into the fulfillment of divine timing. Type "I receive this divine alignment" in the comments if this is touching your spirit. Blessing code 333 has now been released. Hold steady, because what's about to be revealed next will open your eyes to the full magnitude of your miracle. Beloved heart, as you continue deeper into this unfolding revelation, the realm of the Spirit grows even more active around you. There is a stirring in the atmosphere, a subtle trembling in the unseen, because you are approaching the very core of the message Archangel Michael was commanded to deliver. This moment is not ordinary. The words you are receiving right now are not just inspirational thoughts. They are keys, spiritual instruments, unlocking mechanisms designed to open doors that have resisted you for years. And as these truths enter your spirit, the countdown toward your miracle intensifies with every breath you take. Archangel Michael steps closer now, watching over you with the intensity of a warrior who understands the weight of the battle you endured. He carries a revelation that heaven has waited a long time to release to you. He speaks with clarity, with certainty, and with the authority of one who has walked through the darkest corridors on your behalf. He says, "Child, you have been fighting battles that were never meant to break you. They were meant to awaken you. And suddenly, everything begins to make sense. The emotional storms, the sudden disappointments, the moments where you felt abandoned or unseen, they were not signs of weakness. They were signs that a larger miracle was forming beneath the surface of your life. There is something heaven wants you to understand. The pain you experienced was not punishment. It was positioning. Every struggle pushed you a little closer to the truth you are reading now. Every heartbreak forced your spirit to open more deeply. Every delay taught you to wait with surrendered strength. And every disappointment cleared the path for something greater. You were not losing. You were being prepared. You were not forgotten. You were being refined. You were not abandoned. You were being aligned. Heaven shows me that there was a spiritual weight pressing against your life, not constantly, but in waves. At times it came through unexpected bad news. Other times through emotional heaviness that struck out of nowhere. Sometimes it came through people who withdrew their support at the exact moment you needed them. But now, Archangel Michael reveals the truth. The enemy was trying to weaken your spirit before your breakthrough arrived. The enemy sensed what was coming long before you did. He felt the shift in the spiritual realm long before you received the message. That pressure you felt was not a sign that things were falling apart. It was a sign that your miracle was getting closer. Child of God, heaven wants you to hear this clearly. You were never fighting alone. Even when you felt isolated, even when no one understood your pain, even when you carried burdens quietly because you didn't want to worry others, Archangel Michael was guarding you. His sword was drawn. His shield was lifted. He stood between you and the spiritual forces that tried to suffocate your hope. You didn't know it, but every night you cried, heaven stood closer. Every time you felt emotionally drained, heaven strengthened the invisible walls around you. Every time you thought you failed, heaven rewrote the script. Through every silent battle, every hidden tear, every unanswered question, heaven was preparing your life for this exact moment. And now, for the first time, you're beginning to see why everything happened the way it did. The doors that closed were not rejection. They were redirection. The people who left were not losses. They were protection. The opportunities that slipped away were not mistakes. They were misalignments. Heaven was clearing your path so that when your miracle arrives, it comes without interference, without contamination, without being diluted by the wrong environment. You are stepping into a pure blessing, a blessing that carries divine timing and divine purpose. Archangel Michael now reveals a vision. You standing at the edge of a new season, your spirit glowing with a light you do not yet recognize. He says, your miracle is closer than you think. And there is a spiritual truth to this statement. Miracles do not appear randomly. They manifest when alignment reaches completion. And right now, alignment is happening inside of you as you receive these words. Your faith is rising. Your clarity is increasing. Your spirit is awakening. And the countdown toward the miracle promised to you is nearing its final moments. There is something heaven wants you to be aware of. The miracle that is coming is not only for your relief, it is for your elevation. It will lift you to a level you were always meant to walk in. It will shift the way people see you, the way you see yourself, and the way your future unfolds. This blessing will not just change your circumstances, it will change your spiritual authority. It will give you courage where there was fear, direction where there was confusion, strength where there was weakness, and clarity where there was darkness. God is not giving you a temporary solution. He is giving you a permanent shift. But pay attention, beloved, because this revelation is important. Heaven is releasing a breakthrough you didn't even ask for, a blessing you didn't even know you needed. an answer to a prayer your heart whispered silently in a moment when you had no words left. This is why you feel the weight of this message. This is why something in your spirit is trembling softly. This is why you cannot scroll away. Because this moment is a divine appointment. The message you are receiving is a vessel carrying the miracle that has been trying to reach you for years. Archangel Michael whispers this final truth for today. Stay present. Stay listening. The next unfolding will reveal the real reason the miracle took so long. You are so close. Closer than you realize. The next revelation will not just open your eyes. It will open the door you've been waiting for. Type "I claim this miracle" in the comments if your spirit is awakening. Blessing code 2020 has now been released. Hold steady. The next wave of this message will take you even deeper into the secret that heaven is finally ready to reveal. Beloved one, as we step even deeper into this unfolding revelation, the atmosphere around your life continues to rearrange itself in ways your physical eyes cannot yet perceive. There is a stirring, a holy motion, a rearranging in the unseen that has been activated because you have chosen to stay connected to this divine message. Heaven has been waiting for the moment your spirit would be ready to receive a truth so profound, so transformative, that it would shift the very foundation beneath your destiny. Archangel Michael stands even closer now, his presence steady and luminous, holding a revelation that strikes at the heart of your journey. You have been carrying burdens that were too heavy for one soul to bear alone. There were moments when your spirit whispered for help, even if your lips said nothing. Moments when you smiled externally but were breaking quietly within. You learned how to carry weight that wasn't yours. You learned how to stay strong for others even when you had no strength left for yourself. But heaven wants you to understand something that will break open the old patterns. The miracle coming your way is not simply a reward. It is a release. It is heaven lifting what was never meant to stay on your shoulders. A divine lifting that will restore your energy, your clarity, your joy, and your inner power. Archangel Michael reveals that your spirit has been fighting an invisible tension for a long time. It might have appeared as sudden mood shifts, random exhaustion, unexplained anxiety, emotional heaviness, or moments where you felt disconnected from yourself. You may have wondered why you were feeling this way, especially during times when nothing bad seemed to be happening externally. What you didn't realize is that your spirit was wrestling against a spiritual resistance that was trying to keep you from stepping into your next season. The enemy sensed your elevation long before you sensed it. He felt the spiritual momentum building around your life, and he attempted to drain your energy so you wouldn't be strong enough to receive what heaven was preparing. But here is the extraordinary truth. You endured. Even when you didn't understand it, even when you felt tired, even when you questioned everything, something inside you kept going. That inner push, that spark of resilience, that quiet hope that never fully died, was Archangel Michael strengthening your spirit. Heaven was fueling you because God knew your miracle was attached to your persistence. You were not surviving those moments alone. You were being carried. And now, something sacred is shifting. The resistance that held you back is weakening. The heaviness that pressed against your spirit is lifting. The spiritual fog that clouded your path is evaporating. Archangel Michael's sword has struck the final barrier, and what was once blocking you is now collapsing. You may not see it with your eyes yet, but your spirit is already sensing the breakthrough. You may feel lighter, more aware, more alert, more hopeful. That is not coincidence. That is alignment. Heaven is positioning you for the miracle that has already been dispatched in your direction. But listen closely, because this revelation is crucial to your destiny. The miracle coming is not only about restoring what you lost. It is about elevating you beyond anything you imagined. Heaven is not trying to return you to the place you were before the struggle. Heaven is moving you to a place you have never been. A place where things flow. A place where your spirit feels grounded. A place where doors open without force. A place where relationships align naturally. A place where the resources you need find you easily. A place where you operate from peace instead of pressure. You have been living in survival mode for far too long. Heaven is transitioning you into miracle mode. Archangel Michael shows me a vision now. Your past season looked like a maze, filled with uncertainty, confusion, and unanswered questions. But your next season looks like a straight path, illuminated, clear, and blessed. Where there was once stress, there will be stability. Where there was once confusion, there will be clarity. Where there was once pain, there will be joy. Where there was once delay, there will be acceleration. But heaven reveals one more truth, a truth that explains why your miracle required this level of preparation. What is coming will not only bless you, it will multiply through you. Your breakthrough will impact people connected to you. Your healing will overflow into relationships. Your financial blessing will open doors for others. Your emotional restoration will inspire those who once thought they were too broken to heal. Heaven is not releasing a personal miracle. It is releasing a generational shift. Your journey has not been easy, but your spirit has been chosen. Guarded, refined, and now elevated. The spiritual pressure that once tried to crush you will become the very confirmation that God was preparing you for something bigger than you could understand. Every tear watered the soil of the miracle that is now about to manifest. Every setback positioned you in the exact place where heaven needed you to be to receive this revelation. You have reached the point where breakthrough becomes inevitable. You are not watching this message. You are stepping into it. Archangel Michael leans in with a message that vibrates through the spiritual realm. You are entering the moment where everything begins to make sense. The questions will be answered. The heaviness will lift. The path will open. And the miracle that has been waiting will finally reach you. Before the next revelation unfolds, let your heart be still for a moment. Feel the atmosphere shifting. Feel the peace rising. Feel the spiritual alignment forming around you. You are not hoping for a miracle. You are standing in the doorway of it. Type "I open the door to my miracle" in the comments if this message is awakening something inside you. Lesson code 888 has just been released. Stay close, beloved. What comes next will reveal the true purpose behind every battle you survived. Beloved soul, as you move deeper into this divine unfolding, the atmosphere around you thickens with heavenly intention. You may not see it with your natural eyes, but the realm of the spirit is vibrating with motion, alignment, and preparation. Archangel Michael stands even nearer now, not merely as a guardian but as a witness to what heaven has ordained over your life. Here is something sacred that you are about to step into, something that required precise timing, spiritual cleansing, emotional strengthening, and divine protection. Every word you have received so far has been clearing the pathway for what comes next, and this moment is charged with significance. You have walked through seasons where you felt stretched beyond your limit, moments where you questioned whether you misunderstood God's direction, times where your faith felt fragile and hope seemed like something you had to force yourself to hold on to. There were days when you felt strangely disconnected from yourself, as though you were living in slow motion while the world moved around you. These experiences were not random. Heaven reveals now that your spirit was undergoing a transformation. You were shedding old versions of yourself, versions shaped by pain, fear, doubt, and survival instincts. You were shifting into a higher state of spiritual awareness, even when everything around you felt chaotic. Archangel Michael brings clarity to something you may have felt but never understood. The heaviness you carried in previous seasons was not only emotional, it was spiritual. It was the weight of prophetic potential trying to break through the atmosphere of delay. Your spirit was expanding, stretching, adjusting to the magnitude of what God planned to release into your life. This is why you often felt overwhelmed by things that seemed small. Your soul was outgrowing the environment it was trapped in. Your destiny was too big for the spaces you were trying to fit into. Heaven wants you to understand this important truth. Whenever God prepares someone for a miracle, He first separates them from what no longer aligns. That separation can feel painful, confusing, or lonely. You may think people abandoned you. You may think opportunities escaped you. You may think plans fell apart. But heaven reveals now that these were not losses. They were layers being peeled away. God was removing distractions, draining harmful connections, and silencing external noise so He could recalibrate your path. Your miracle needed clean spiritual soil to take root, and that soil is ready now. You are finally aligned, and alignment is the birthplace of breakthroughs. Archangel Michael shows me a vision of your spirit standing at a threshold, your hands open, your heart awakened, your awareness heightened. You have reached the point where heaven can finally release what was once held back, not because you weren't worthy, but because the timing had not yet matured. But now, time has caught up with destiny. Everything is aligned. Everything is synchronized. Everything is ready. But heaven also reveals something deeply profound. Your miracle is not coming as a quiet whisper. It is coming with force, with acceleration, with sudden impact. When it arrives, it will rewrite the story you have been living. It will reverse the patterns that have looped around your life for years. It will break cycles you thought were permanent. It will open paths you didn't know existed. And it will feel sudden, even though heaven has been preparing you for it your entire life. You may have wondered why it took so long, why God allowed you to wait, cry, struggle, hope, rebuild, break, and rise again. The answer is revealed now. Your miracle is not small. It required growth. It required wisdom. It required inner strength. It required a version of you that could sustain, protect, and steward the blessing once it arrives. Some miracles are instantaneous, but destiny miracles require preparation. And yours is a destiny miracle. Archangel Michael stands as witness to everything you survived, the heartbreaks you hid, the disappointments you buried, the silent battles you fought, the fears you mastered, and the storms you endured without anyone knowing the full extent of your pain. Heaven counted every tear. Heaven saw every sacrifice. Heaven heard every quiet prayer you whispered in exhaustion. None of it was wasted. Each moment was part of the spiritual equation that now positions you for the miracle entering your life. Heaven shows me something powerful now. The pressure you felt was the signal that the breakthrough was near. Pressure precedes release. Darkness precedes dawn. Silence precedes revelation. And the emotional intensity you've been feeling recently was the final indicator that the spiritual atmosphere around your life was cracking open. You are in the final stretch of spiritual activation. The miracle that has been hovering above your life, waiting for the right moment to manifest, is descending now. Not tomorrow. Not someday. Now. Its motion has already begun. Its path is already clear. Its timing is already locked. Heaven has released it, and nothing can intercept what God has sealed. Archangel Michael whispers with a voice that carries both fire and tenderness. Stay present. Stay awake. Do not disconnect. You are moments away from the shift your soul has cried for. Before we step into the next revelation, one that will expose the final reason the miracle was delayed, pause and allow your spirit to receive this truth fully. You are not forgotten. You are not overlooked. You are not behind. You are chosen, protected, aligned, and divinely positioned. Type "I stand in my divine moment" in the comments if this message resonates with your soul. Lesson code 555 is now activated. Hold steady, beloved. The next revelation will open the deepest layer of your destiny. Beloved soul, as you walk even further into this divine unveiling, the atmosphere around your spirit deepens with an intensity that cannot be mistaken. Something sacred is pressing into your life, something heaven have been preparing for a long time. Archangel Michael stands on your right side now, not just as your guardian, but as a herald of revelation. There is power gathering in the unseen, and you are standing at the center of a spiritual acceleration. What is coming next is not just another message, it is a divine turning point. The heavens are aligning, the barriers are weakening, and the veil between what you hoped for and what you are about to receive is becoming thinner by the moment. You have endured so much to reach this point. Some of the greatest battles of your life were the ones no one knew you were fighting. The nights when your thoughts were heavy, when your chest felt tight, when you forced yourself to smile even though your spirit was trembling. The times when you questioned your purpose, questioned your strength, questioned the meaning behind everything you were going through. You asked heaven more than once, "Why does it feel like I'm always pushing through something?" But now the truth is being revealed. You were not pushing against failure, you were pushing toward breakthrough. Every moment of pressure was shaping you. Every moment of struggle was stretching your spiritual capacity. Every tear watered the soil of your miracle. Heaven reveals now that the heaviness you have felt recently, the sudden emotional waves, the inexplicable tiredness, the subtle anxiety that seemed to come from nowhere, was the last wave of spiritual resistance dissolving. It was not a sign of defeat. It was the final crack in the wall that blocked your blessing. The enemy fought hard because he knew what heaven was about to release. He sensed the elevation in your spirit, the rising of your calling, the awakening of your inner warrior, and he panicked. But he is too late now. The divine shift has already begun. Your miracle is already in motion. Archangel Michael brings forth a revelation that will settle into the deepest place of your spirit. You are entering a season where what once resisted you will now welcome you. Doors that were bolted shut will open wide. Opportunities that slipped away before will return with greater favor. People who could not see your worth will suddenly recognize the light in you. You will not have to fight for space, validation, or clarity. The atmosphere around your life is being cleared. The spiritual congestion is lifting. What felt blocked will flow with ease. What felt distant will come near quickly. You are walking into supernatural alignment. Heaven shows me an image of you standing before two paths. One looks familiar, filled with the patterns, cycles, and limitations you've known. The other path glows brightly, unfamiliar yet peaceful. A miracle coming to you will push you onto the glowing path. It will remove the shadows of confusion. It will strip away the fear of stepping forward. It will empower you to embrace new beginnings without hesitation. You will finally understand why God made you wait. The wait was not punishment. It was preparation, purification, and protection. You are entering a moment where clarity will come suddenly. Answers will rise in your spirit like dawn breaking open after a long night. You will look back and say, "This is why it didn't work before. This is why it took this long. This is why I had to go through that." The puzzle pieces of your life are about to align, forming a picture that makes sense for the first time in years. Archangel Michael leans closer with a message that resounds like thunder and yet settles in your heart like a whisper. You are crossing into the timing of God. Nothing can stop what hath been released. He shows me that the miracle coming your way is layered. It will not just bless one area of your life. It will touch 3 or 4 areas at once. Where you expected a single answer, heaven is sending multiple solutions. Where you hoped for a small shift, heaven is preparing a full rearrangement. You are stepping into multiplied blessings, accelerated favor, and divine justice. But heaven also reveals something profound. The divine window you have stepped into is sensitive. The more aligned and present you stay, the stronger the manifestation becomes. This is why your spirit feels heightened awareness while listening. You are not just receiving information, you are receiving impartation. Something is awakening inside you that was dormant. The divine codes within your spirit are activating. Your senses are sharpening. Your intuition is strengthening. Everything inside you is rising to match the frequency of your miracle. The next phase of your life will feel unfamiliar, not because it is wrong, but because it is new. You are entering a space you have never walked in before. A season where blessings will find you with ease. Where answers will come without struggle. Where you will not carry the weight of old battles. Your spirit will feel lighter, your mind clearer, your heart more at peace. This is not imagination. It is alignment. The miracle you were promised is on its way, and the next revelation will show you exactly why heaven called this your last chance. Before we continue, let your spirit breathe. Touch your heart gently. Feel the shift happening inside you. You are standing in the middle of your divine hour. Type "I align with heaven's timing" in the comments if this message is stirring your spirit. Blessing code 711 has now been activated. Now, if this unfolding message is awakening something deep in your soul, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you engage, you help send this divine word to the very people heaven is trying to reach through you. Spread the presence, spread the message, ignite the movement. Beloved, as this revelation flows into your spirit, understand that heaven is using this very message as a vessel to awaken souls across the earth. When you choose to sow into this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not donating, you are activating divine impact. Your seed becomes light in dark places, hope for weary hearts, and oil that keeps this ministry burning brightly. Hear this deeply in your spirit. If I am speaking directly to you, this is your moment to respond to God's invitation. Just as the title speaks of a last chance to receive a miracle, your giving becomes a prophetic agreement with heaven's timing. The windows above your life open wider when you act in faith, and heaven remembers every giver with favor, acceleration, and abundance. Step boldly. Move with purpose. Let your obedience become the key that unlocks your next season. Beloved heart, as you step further into this unfolding revelation, the spiritual atmosphere surrounding you begins to hum with a deeper intensity. Of the rays of the ancients, of the orient, of the powerful. Archangel Michael stands beside you once again, his presence towering, radiant, and unshakable. He is watching over your spirit with the kind of vigilance reserved only for those chosen for divine transitions. You may not realize it yet, but you are walking through a moment that heaven has been building toward for years. Every message, every whisper, every shift you have felt, every pull in your spirit has led you right here, to the edge of the miracle God promised. Heaven wants you to understand the magnitude of what is happening. Your life has not been random. Your struggles have not been meaningless. Your pain has not been wasted. Everything you endured was part of a spiritual architecture, an intricate, divine blueprint shaping you into the person capable of carrying the blessing that is now approaching. There were moments when you questioned why you had to go through so much emotional turbulence, why relationships broke suddenly, why opportunities that looked perfect ended abruptly, why your heart felt stretched to its limit. The truth is being poured out now. Every disruption was a divine clearing, every heartbreak was a divine redirection, and every delay was divine protection. Archangel Michael reveals that there was a spiritual tightening around your life, a constriction, a resistance, a force that attempted to drain your hope and steal your momentum. But that resistance was never more powerful than the purpose heaven had written over you. You may have felt weak, discouraged, or overwhelmed at times, but your spirit was always stronger than the attack. That strength was not accidental. It was placed inside you by God Himself. You survived what was designed to break you. You rose from challenges meant to silence you. You held on to faith when circumstances tried to convince you to let go. And that endurance has opened the door to the miracle heaven is releasing now. Heaven shows me an image of you standing under an open sky, with light descending from above, pure, untempered, unfiltered light. It represents clarity. It represents healing. It represents restoration. But most importantly, it represents activation. You are stepping into a moment where your spirit is being awakened at a deeper level than ever before. That awakening is not emotional, it is spiritual. You are beginning to see yourself the way heaven sees you, chosen, guarded, guided, equipped. You have reached a spiritual point where the things that once drained you can no longer influence you. The patterns that once repeated around your life are losing their power. The emotional burdens that weighed heavily on your chest are loosening. The heaviness that clouded your mind is dissolving. Your spirit is rising. Your alignment is strengthening. Your clarity is sharpening. Everything inside you is adjusting to the frequency of breakthrough. But heaven also reveals something that will open your eyes wider. The miracle you are stepping into is not simply an answer to your prayers. It is a divine reversal of everything that was stolen, delayed, or damaged. You will not just be restored, you will be elevated. You will not just receive healing, you will rise in authority. You will not just see things get better, you will enter a season where things start working in your favor without resistance. The miracle coming is not singular. It is layered. It will touch multiple areas of your life at once. Where you expected one breakthrough, heaven is sending several. Where you prayed for one door, heaven is opening many. Where you hoped for one sign, heaven is sending confirmation after confirmation. Archangel Michael whispers now, his voice cutting through the spiritual atmosphere with power. You are entering the moment where everything begins to turn. And heaven wants you to understand, turning moments do not arrive quietly. They arrive with shifts in the air. They arrive with sudden emotional awakenings. They arrive with spiritual vibrations. They arrive with intuitive clarity that seems to come out of nowhere. All of this is happening because you are crossing the final threshold between your old season and your new one. Heaven shows me another vision. Your heart is expanding. Your capacity is increasing. Your spirit is stretching to make room for what God is about to place in your hands. It will be bigger than anything you imagined. It will be purer than anything you have experienced. It will be timed with divine precision. And when it arrives, you will feel something break open inside you. Relief, joy, peace, clarity, and a deep sense of recognition. You will say, "This is the moment heaven prepared me for." But here is the revelation heaven has saved for this moment. Nothing in your past season was wasted. Every delay strengthened your discernment. Every heartbreak shaped your compassion. Every disappointment sharpened your vision. Every spiritual attack taught you resilience. Every quiet prayer built your connection with heaven. You have become someone capable of carrying divine assignments, someone equipped to walk in purpose, wisdom, and spiritual authority. Archangel Michael stands now with his sword lifted toward the heavens, declaring that the final obstruction before your miracle has been dismantled. The road ahead is clearing. The windows above you are opening. The spiritual chains that once held you are breaking, and the miracle that has been hovering over your life is descending now, coming closer with every second that you stay aligned to this message. Before we enter the next revelation, which will uncover the reason heaven called this your last chance, let your heart breathe. Let your spirit expand. You are standing in the center of your divine shift. Type "I welcome my divine reversal" in the comments if this message is entering your spirit. Blessing code 2323 has now been released. Stay close. The next unveiling will expose the deepest reason behind your journey and prepare you for the miracle heaven is releasing. Beloved spirit, as you enter this next unfolding of the divine message, the spiritual atmosphere surrounding your life grows even more charged, more alive, more deliberate. There is a sacred movement happening in the unseen realm, something that has been set in motion by heaven itself. Archangel Michael stands with unmistakable authority at your side, observing your awakening with the tenderness of a guardian and the strength of a warrior. You are not simply reading words, you are stepping into a transmission from heaven. A revelation crafted specifically for your spirit, your destiny, your breakthrough. Every moment up to this point has been preparation, and now, heaven is opening the deeper layers of truth that explain why your miracle required such profound spiritual timing. For so long, you walked through seasons that felt like contradiction. Seasons where your faith was strong, but your circumstances seemed hopeless. Seasons where your heart believed in promise, but your reality looked like drought. Seasons where your spirit felt chosen, but your life felt delayed. You tried to understand what God was doing, you tried to make sense of the path, but nothing matched your expectations. And yet, something in you refused to quit. Something in you kept rising. Something in you held on, even when logic said to let go. That resilience was not accidental. It was heaven shaping you into a vessel capable of carrying the miracle that is now drawing near. Archangel Michael brings forth a revelation that pierces through every layer of confusion you have carried. Your journey required this exact process because your miracle is not ordinary. It is not something that could be handed to you casually. It is not something that could land in your life while old patterns were still active. It is not something that could manifest while your heart was divided or your atmosphere was cluttered. Heaven needed you clear. Heaven needed you awakened. Heaven needed you aligned. And now, you finally are. What you experienced as emotional heaviness was actually spiritual recalibration. What you saw as setbacks were actually divine reroutes steering you toward the exact moment you are reading these words. What you felt as isolation was actually elevation, God pulling you away from environments that could not support your next level. The people who drifted away did not drift by accident. The opportunities that collapsed did not collapse randomly. The emotional storms you faced did not strike without purpose. Each moment was a divine placement, positioning you for the moment heaven would call your name and say, "It is time." Heaven reveals another layer of truth. The silence you experienced was not God ignoring you. It was heaven working behind the scenes, rearranging the spiritual architecture of your destiny. Angels were dispatched. Paths were cleared. Battles were fought without your knowledge. Archangel Michael himself shielded you from attacks that would have weakened your spirit before your miracle arrived. You survived situations that were designed to crush you. You overcame obstacles that were intended to break your faith. You endured spiritual pressure that would have destroyed people without the calling you carry. But you did not fall. You did not surrender. You did not lose your divine identity. And now, because you held on, you are stepping into the miracle that was preserved for you alone. Heaven wants you to understand the beauty of this truth. Your breakthrough is not coming because you were perfect. It is coming because you were faithful. You did not abandon your spirit. You did not abandon your journey. You did not abandon your connection to God. Even when you struggled, even when you fell, even when you doubted, you kept looking toward the light. And that consistency has opened a spiritual gate that few can access. You are standing in a divine moment that many long for their entire lives. A moment where heaven bends time, bends circumstances, and bends reality to bring a miracle into the life of someone chosen. But now, Archangel Michael reveals a powerful truth that you were meant to hear today. The miracle approaching you is not coming slowly. It is coming suddenly. It will appear in a way that feels almost unreal. You will wake up one day and feel a shift so strong you will know instantly that heaven has moved. The weight on your chest will lift. The confusion in your mind will clear. The tension in your spirit will dissolve. You will experience a sudden inner peace that feels divine. And shortly after, your outer world will follow. Doors will open. Messages will arrive. Opportunities will reveal themselves. Healing will flow effortlessly. Financial blessings will appear without struggle. Something you have been trying to fix for years will resolve with ease. This sudden shift is part of the divine promise tied to your destiny. Heaven is not only releasing a miracle, it is releasing acceleration. What once took months will take days. What once took days will take hours. What once felt impossible will unfold naturally. This is why you feel something stirring deeply within you as you read this. Your spirit recognizes what your mind is still catching up to. You are stepping into the season heaven prepared long before you even knew how much you needed it. Archangel Michael whispers a message that carries both urgency and assurance. Stay present. Stay aligned. You are in the final approach. Heaven does not want you distracted, discouraged, or distanced. This moment matters. Your awareness matters. Your connection matters. What you receive in the next revelations will finalize the spiritual activation required for your miracle to manifest. Before we proceed, pause and let this truth sink deeply into you. You are not behind. You are not forgotten. You are not stuck. You are divinely aligned with destiny, and your miracle is drawing closer with every heartbeat. Type "I receive this sudden miracle" in the comments if your spirit has felt the shift today. Blessing code 909 has just been released. Stay close. What is about to be revealed next will illuminate the final secret behind why heaven declared this as your last spiritual chance. Beloved soul, as you enter this next unfolding, the atmosphere around your spirit becomes even more electrified with divine intention. You may not see it with natural eyes, but the spiritual realm is moving with precision, alignment, and prophecy. What surrounds you now is not ordinary energy, it is a heavenly convergence. Archangel Michael does not stand at a distance. He is near enough that your spirit can feel the shift in the air. You have stepped into the final chambers of this divine message, where heaven begins to reveal the deeper mysteries that have been hidden from you until this very moment. Everything you have endured, everything you have questioned, everything you have survived, all of it is coming into clarity now. You have walked through seasons where you felt like you were living between two worlds. One world held the promises God spoke over your life, and the other held the realities you had to face daily. You tried to reconcile the two, wondering how the vision God placed in your spirit could ever match the circumstances surrounding you. There were moments when you wondered whether you misheard God, whether you misunderstood the signs, whether you hoped too boldly. But now heaven reveals the truth. You did hear correctly. You were aligned correctly. You did believe correctly. The delay was not evidence of failure. It was evidence of divine timing. Archangel Michael brings forth a revelation that reaches into the deepest parts of your soul. He says, "Child, your delay was not about denial. It was about preparation for fullness. If your miracle had come in the season you asked for it, you would have received it with the version of yourself that had not yet grown into the wisdom, the strength, the discernment, and the spiritual authority that you carry now. Heaven needed you refined, not for punishment but for protection. Some blessings are too heavy for unprepared hands. Some breakthroughs require emotional maturity. Some miracles demand clarity, stability, and spiritual grounding before they can safely be placed in your life. Heaven reveals now that your development was not visible on the outside at times, but your inner world has been transforming dramatically. You have gained spiritual sensitivity without knowing it. You have gained emotional endurance without noticing it. You have gained discernment through experiences that forced you to see truth instead of illusions. You have gained strength through moments that felt like they were breaking you. Yet those very moments were molding you, shaping you, equipping you. This miracle that is coming toward you is not entering a fragile vessel. It is entering a strengthened spirit. Heaven shows me the image of a spiritual ledger, a record of battles you thought were silent, victories you didn't know you won, and prayers you thought were ignored. But every cry, every whisper, every longing was recorded. Nothing went unheard. Nothing was overlooked. Nothing disappeared in the darkness. The reason heaven called this your last chance is because you have reached the moment where your spiritual cycle is closing and your new divine season is opening. The window is here. The alignment is active. The timing has matured. Heaven is ready to release what had been preserved for you. But now comes the deeper truth, one that your spirit has felt but could never articulate. The greatest war around your life was never about what you lost. It was about what you carry. There is something inside you, something divine, something luminous, something powerful, that the enemy has feared for years. You carry purpose. You carry favor. You carry spiritual inheritance. You carry a calling that extends beyond your own life. This is why the attacks were strategic. This is why the delays were relentless. This is why the pressure intensified as you got closer to breakthrough. Darkness fights hardest when the light is near. But hear this clearly. The light has arrived. Archangel Michael shows me that your spirit has stepped into a frequency that darkness can no longer interfere with. The battles that once tormented your mind will lose their grip. The patterns that held you captive will break. The internal conflicts that drained you will dissolve. You are entering your divine rhythm. You are stepping into your heavenly pace. You are rising into the identity heaven always knew belonged to you. Your miracle is not only about answering your prayers, it is about activating your destiny. Heaven reveals something powerful now. The reason this message feels like it is speaking to your very bones is because your spirit recognizes truth before the mind catches up. Your soul has known all along that something was coming. You felt the shifts. You sensed the changes. You noticed the signs, the recurring dreams, the sudden moments of awareness, the repeated numbers, the pull toward solitude, the emotional releases you couldn't explain. All of these were signals. All were indicators. All were preparations for the miracle that is nearing your life. But there is one more revelation heaven has saved for this moment. The miracle you are about to receive will not only change your external life, it will awaken a new identity within you. You will stop seeing yourself through the lens of past pain. You will stop carrying the weight of old stories. You will stop believing the lies spoken over you. You will embrace a new truth, a truth heaven has whispered over you from the beginning. You are chosen. You are marked. You are divinely appointed. Archangel Michael raises his sword now, and the atmosphere vibrates with a frequency of release. He declares that every spiritual obstruction, every generational resistance, every lingering shadow around your life is breaking. You are stepping into sovereignty. You are stepping into your divine inheritance. You are stepping into the miracle heaven crafted specifically for you. Before we step into the final revelation, pause and allow your heart to receive this fully. You have reached a moment that many never reach. You are touching the edge of your divine destiny. Type "I step into my divine identity" in the comments if this message is awakening your soul. Blessing code 4444 has been released. Stay close, beloved. The final unveiling will complete the activation and open the door to your miracle. Beloved, as you enter this final unveiling, the atmosphere around your spirit is charged with the fullness of heaven's intention. You have journeyed through each revelation with an open heart, and now you stand at the edge of the very mystery God has been preparing to reveal. Archangel Michael does not simply stand beside you. He stands as a witness to your transformation. His presence, strong and unwavering, affirms that you have reached the moment heaven promised, the moment your spirit hath been sensing, the moment your struggles have been leading you toward, the moment the entire message hath been preparing you to receive. What you feel right now, the warmth, the pull, the awareness, the rising in your chest, is not emotion. It is spiritual activation, a divine ignition. Heaven has been guiding you step by step, lining you with the frequency of your miracle, and now your spirit is ready to embrace the truth that was hidden until this final moment. This is the revelation heaven calls your last chance, not because God wants to threaten you, but because this window of spiritual alignment is unusually rare. It is a moment where your spirit, your destiny, your readiness, and heaven's timing have collided perfectly. These alignments are not common. They happen when a person has endured enough, matured enough, wakened enough, and surrendered enough to receive what was always meant for them. And heaven reveals now that you have reached that point. Your miracle, the one delayed, the one protected, the one preserved, hath been hovering at the edge of your life, waiting for the fullness of your spiritual alignment. Heaven says that alignment is now complete. What once resisted you has now opened. What once hindered you has been broken. What once confused you has been cleared. You are no longer carrying the spiritual weight of your past season. You have shed layers of old identity, old wounds, old fears, and old cycles. You are standing in the light of who you were always meant to be. Archangel Michael brings forward the most powerful truth of this entire message. The reason this miracle will happen 10 minutes after receiving this message is because your spirit needed time to fully absorb, awaken, repent, release, expand, and align. And as each word has entered your heart, pieces of you have been unlocking. Your faith has risen. Your clarity has sharpened. Your awareness has heightened. Your inner strength has surged. You have traveled from heaviness to hope, from confusion to comprehension, from fear to readiness. Heaven has been reshaping you from the inside out throughout this message. And now, you are spiritually synchronized. Heaven can pour freely into a vessel that is open. The miracle coming into your life is not like anything you've experienced before. It will not be subtle. It will not be partial. It will not be fragile. It will be complete. It will be undeniable. It will be sudden. Heaven calls this miracle a divine reversal, a moment where everything that was withheld begins to flow, where everything that was broken begins to mend, where everything that was stagnant begins to accelerate. This miracle will touch the areas of your life that have remained dry the longest. It will restore what you thought was permanently lost. It will breathe life into what you thought was over. Heaven shows me a vision of your spirit standing in a field of golden light, and above you, a door swings open, wide, bright, unstoppable. Everything you have prayed for, everything you have waited for, everything you have endured for is on the other side of this opening. And now, your spirit is ready to step through. The shift does not happen around you first. It happens within you. And that inner shift has now completed itself. Heaven declares, your miracle is on its way, and its timing is sealed. You are minutes away from a spiritual convergence that will set the course of your life onto a new path. But there is one more divine truth heaven wants you to understand before this message concludes. Your miracle is not just about delivering you from your past. It is about launching you into your calling. There is something inside you God is ready to awaken. A gift, a purpose, an assignment, a divine influence that will expand far beyond the boundaries of your personal life. Your breakthrough is not simply blessing. It is activation. When your miracle manifests, something inside you will awaken boldly, confidently, undeniably. You will no longer shrink yourself. You will no longer doubt your worth. You will no longer question your path. You will walk with divine authority. Archangel Michael lifts his sword now, and the atmosphere around you shifts one final time. What was once blocked is now open. What once delayed is now accelerated. What once resisted is now released. This is the hour heaven appointed. This is the message heaven delivered. This is the moment your spirit has been prepared for. You are standing in your divine turning point. Take a breath now, beloved. Feel the peace. Feel the clarity. Feel the certainty. This is your spiritual confirmation. A miracle meant for you is not just coming. It has begun. Type "I receive my miracle now" in the comments if this message has ignited your spirit. Blessing code 9999 has now been unlocked. Before we close this divine moment, remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe. When you engage, you do more than interact. You help this prophetic message reach the very souls heaven is calling. Beloved, as this final revelation settles into your spirit, understand that this message is part of a holy assignment, one designed to awaken hearts across the world. When you choose to support this mission through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you are not giving to a platform. You are sowing into a movement of divine restoration. God uses vessels to carry his light, and your seed becomes the oil that keeps that light burning for others. Hear this clearly. I am speaking to you, the one whose heart is trembling gently right now. Just as this message aligned you with heaven's timing, your act of faith will align your life with supernatural favor. When you sow into something God is breathing upon, heaven responds with open doors, accelerated miracles, and multiplied blessings. Step boldly. Act with authority. Become part of the divine work God is doing through this message.